To ABS Good Morning Anambra, the discussion segment. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe, and this morning we'll have a very interesting topic to deliver to you, and I'm sure that this topic cuts across everybody hearing me, watching me, wherever you are in the world. And the topic we are talking about this morning is Unity in Diversity, celebrating strong families in commemoration of the World Family Day, International Family Day 2024, and the theme is embracing diversity and strengthening families. You look around you, everybody that you see that you know is from a family. We all are products of one family, and then we'll be talking about this, the diversity in every family, and then strengthening it. Because when you look at the world in general, you begin to see the fallout of responsibilities of parents, where they are getting it right and where they are failing. And then when you fail at home as a parent, definitely the society will be the place where it all manifests. Well, let me not give so much intro, but then we have guests in the studio that is going to be delving into the topic that we have this lovely morning. First, we have Professor Nkechi Nwokoye, a mother and a lecturer. She's also the founder of Women Ablaze for Christ Fellowship. Prof, good morning. We have Reverend Bethel Okoye, a father and motivational speaker. Reverend Bethel is also the founder of Eden Life Gospel Mission. Good to have you, Reverend.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Yeah, well, we are celebrating. This is more like International Family Day commemoration that we are doing today, and we all know that we all are products of families. And basically, in a nutshell, we all know that the family is the beginning of every family, as in every human being, comprising of the mother, the father, and then before you now begin to have extended families in areas of grandparents and the rest of it all. Quickly, what is the idea of a family to you, Professor Nkechi, talking about this topic that we're having today? In your own little way, how do you say a family is to somebody?
A family is simply a setting where you have a man who gets married to a woman for the major reason of what, filial relationship, coming together to have warmth, and in the course of that, procreate. And at some point in time, when procreation does not come, the family still remains intact. So family simply means a setting where a man goes out to bring in another person, a woman, to come and make up with him to become one body. That's what an ideal family is. So family also goes beyond a man having a wife and children, and as well as friends. Okay? So when we talk about family, we are not really talking about a man and a wife and the children alone. It also extends to grandparents, friends, well-wishers, and neighbors. So these are the things that make up a family, an ideal family.
Thank you. Well, you've told us how it is. Let's see what Reverend Bethel Okoye will have to say from the biblical injunction about what a family really is.
Yes, thank you very much. A family is a social institution, and the parent of all social institutions, because like when you were introducing this program, you said every one of us came from one family or the other. So a family is a social institution where a matured man and a matured woman come together as husband and wife for purpose of having children. And it is also a place of formation, character formation, social development, just like the Prof has said. A lot of the other, like when she was talking, she talked about extended family that will include the grandfather, the grandmother, the uncle, the auntie, the niece, and the nephews, and the rest of that. You see, a family from Bible perspective is where people gather in unity and in agreement. They have common goal, common focus. They have a pursuit that is in line with the principles of God, the Word of God. Okay, so a family is God's institution, is God's parent for the society. The first institution that God established is the family. So family is of God. It came from God.
Thank you so much. Well, you've really said a whole lot about that family and then the institutionalization from God. Then, now coming to talk about embracing unity in diversity. We all know, coming to you, Professor Nkechi, as a mother, we all know that no two child are the same. Sure. And as a mother, even if you have two kids, one tends to get your blessing more than the other. Sometimes you find it so difficult not to show it, but it's innate in us to, tend to show love towards one child than the other, based on how that child is responsive to either the training that you're giving or helping in chores at home and stuff like that. So how do you as a mother, when you have these challenges, when you're finding it difficult trying to inculcate the same discipline in a particular child and the other one is picking it and then running with it? So how do you tend to balance it so that both childs get to understand that you love them without bias?
Okay, let me start by saying that no two persons are the same, even if they are twins.
Okay.
Even if they are physically,
identical and everything.
Identically or whatever. Now, they say variety is the spice of life. So in a family where you have children, whether twins or single children, you don't expect them as a mother to behave alike, okay? Because there must be variety. There must be diversity. Now, if you have children, the tendency of one being more obedient than others is there. And once a child is obedient to the parent, definitely the parent will love that child, okay? But if the other one is so heady, not ready to adapt to any change, any positive change, definitely the tendency of the mother not showing love as much as she should have on that child exists naturally. So as a mother, if I have children like this, one thing that is my base is, as a Christian, I should show love to my children, irrespective of the way they behave. The only thing I owe to that child who is heady, who is stubborn, who does not respect me, what I owe him or her is my prayer. Because I believe that nothing is difficult with God. That if I continue to pray, because most times, most of these children are being influenced. They are being influenced not only by the nature, they are being influenced by the nurture. They are being influenced by the society. You train a child at home, you will inculcate all the values, but when he or she steps out of the house, so many things out there will begin to influence that child. So you don't throw him away. You learn, you study that child, and now ask God to give you the ability or what it takes to do what? To meet to the needs of that child. Because those challenges are needs in the life of that child. All that you need is to tailor him to the right path. Prayerfully, you'll be able to do what? Make some changes in the life of the child. But let me say it again that everything is dependent on God. If as a mother you are a child of God, definitely the Bible says that the blessings of God makes rich and adds no sorrow. So as a child of God, you need to be praying for your children. If you notice that any of your child is tilting out of the right path, what do? Prayerfully, you bring that child back, and that child will go the right way. So I don't need to discriminately love my children. If I do so, I'll be creating a very big gap in the lives of those children. And by the time it gets out of hand, I won't be able to control it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me come to you, Reverend Betta. When we're talking about raising a child, we all know that parenting is one of the most difficult jobs in this world. The job that at the end of it all, nobody pays you physical cash for doing that job. But we all believe that whatever you put into a child, we want to see it replicate in the family and in the society at large. Then rightly, what comes to my mind is the story of the prodigal son. This was a child that was raised in a good family, a godly home, and then the rest of it all. But then, the child now decided that, Father, I'm a man, I want to, handle things myself. Can you split your estate for me so that I can take my share and then go? And we all remember what happened to the young man. in present contemporary times, things like this still happen. As a father, what message will you be passing to children or to other parents out there that the story of the prodigal son do not befall them? Because even though you raise up a child in the Christ-like way, that child, like Professor said, might still deviate. Yeah. So how do we sum this all together so that we don't have that reoccurring issues in life?
Okay. I think Prof made gave extensive answer, which I believe covered much ground in what you are asking. But let me add this. You know that human beings are social animals. We have our different ideas, views, patterns, feelings, and the rest of that. We respond to things differently. So that young man felt that he was able to handle things, even when he was unaware that he lacked the capacity to do that. So when he behaved the way he did, he went away. We all know the story, eventually get into problems and all that. But at some point, because like Prof said, there is this peer group influence, and then there's this social influence, and then there's all these spiritual manipulations, and then there is also individual tendencies, you know, attitude and the rest of that. And then, so when the young man went out there and saw that what he thought was not there for him, what he did quickly was to come back to himself. So what I want to say is that when you, young man or girl, when you discover that what you are doing is not working for you, quickly come back to yourself. That is the beginning of redemption. You must know and accept before you can be saved. If you claim that you are right at what you are doing, and I mean when it is wrong, nobody and no force can help you. Even prayers won't help you. You see, the Bible said if you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good of the land. So it has to start from willingness. That is a self-conviction that this thing I'm doing is not right. And then you talk to yourself. The next thing is that you back it up with action, which shows that the young man stood up and said, I am going back. So that you young man or you young lady, start going back to your origin. Go back to your parents. Go back to those values that your parents all the while we are inculcating. Because I think a major issue that we have today is our values have been corroded. There is this value abuse. A lot of parents, a lot of, even in faith-based organizations, values are no longer emphasized as it should be. So, but those ones you had, go back to it, because proper life begins at proper value. When you have wrong value, you can't get a right life. So the young man went home. As he was coming home, but look at an ideal parent. The Bible said that the father was already seated and was looking out for his return. So you parent, even though that child is wayward, whether that child is a criminal, whatever, don't lose hope. Keep expecting, like Prof said, pray. And then I will add, as you pray, you train. But if the child ignores the prayer and the training and goes wayward, still don't give hope. Ndiba is na monk na enwesi na ada atufu nisi adapro onti nisi adapu bna we atufu. So as long as nisi akara we adapu aka yengu ulila ya na echere nwatakili a o mesi o ya nata maka akufesi o ya dalawo nwatakili obuna we ebu si puta obasi onso ni no ya agba enwelile ebe bie o mesi ogbaje ko so na enwa bu ndi nne na nna ga-eji nwayo jili ndidi na obiago bu na obiago na omego bu na omego obi ofu ka ga-eji we na-eso. Yes, if omela adroma ije ojere ojetere mana a ga-eji nke a eji wee bụrụ maka azụm nwa adrọkwanụ mfe. Ama m ife ọ na-ewe echeta mgbe ndị na ụmụazị emekwe m obere isi ike dịka ụmụaka ndị ọzọ. Enwe my cousin nji mma katapọt n'afọ, my dad egbuchago m egbusigo m ụbọchị ya o mesi ọma ya nkụ bụ ihe pụtasị igbo nwa kịta kere ife ya akọ ọkwụzi nenebe m. So let us adopt that method. Na mgbe nwatakịrị na-eme ife adọrọ mma anyị ama atụfu ya, like ndị oyibo na das, don't throw away the bad child with dirty water. So we keep expecting the child, and the moment the child be asking me, had the sorry, Kayana Batia. More for them, I am a cherry say sorry. Because no real the card that way. Oh, Madumogo de Unata. So now, I ain't getting my dick and then Nabatafa. No ba fordo. Go see for an equibuness with you. Makine near Bidugulu. Melia celebration Calaro. Change AF. One easy. Bobby ring. This chaya or this year can ways or so if you go reception so to a parents question I am as be akonyala akona no onyuri ayejego musampulu mere na teba kita ko mada kaira punka kaira pugodunka when me for joma.
So in essence what you're trying to say is that love conquers all.
Yes, and when it falls love and tolerance. So I have nagid love.
Now let me ask you, Prof. Raising a child now and what it was when you were raised, which one do you think is more difficult? Because we're talking about the diversity and embracing the diversity and strengthening our families. Which do you think is harder?
The answer is so obvious.
I want to know.
The present.
Okay, the present.
Sure.
So if you had the training you had from your parents and your grandparents, so why is it so difficult for you to replicate it in your own children?
It's not as if we don't replicate, but the issue, there are a lot of factors that are combating. There are a lot of factors that are standing against all that parents do, okay, in inculcating the good behavior in the lives of their children. By the grace of God, I have twins. They are about 4 years and some months, a boy and a girl. You know what? The boy is so close to me than the girl. The boy will always, each time I come back to the house, he will be the one that will run to me and say, Mommy, welcome, I want to carry my bag. But the girl will stand aloof. She will stand far from me and be looking at me. So one day I was like, if I allow this girl to continue this way, come on, I will be a stranger to her. So I keep telling her, each time I come back, run to me, you are a woman like me. And she will be looking at me, she will just put a smile, you know. So it is not really easy in the present society, you know, to inculcate in the lives of our children like our parents did during our own time. I remember when I was young, you know, how dare you that your mother asked you to please go and fetch water.
Please. Please.
Even if it doesn't say please, but once that instruction comes, yeah, you obey immediately. You don't resist her.
That is what I'm saying. So if your parents could send you and with immediate alacrity, like Zebudaya would say, you are working. So what is happening to now? Does that mean that we parents are failing in our responsibilities? That's what it means.
No, we still do the same thing. We still issue the same instruction. But the thing is that our children, because of the influence, because of the peer group influence, the societal issues, okay, that is affecting them, they spend most of their time watching social media, watching these white children, okay, the whites, what they do, because you know over there they don't have respect for their parents. So our children will watch and they will imbibe those things in themselves. That when you be speaking to a child, please don't leave this house. Don't go out of this place. Say, Mommy, okay, thank you. Once you leave, that boy will just go. It's not as if our parents are not doing what they should do. But the issue that a lot of factors, you know, is that are affecting our children in the present day generation. So many vices. And it seems as if the vices are overtaking the virtues. But as parents, we still keep trying our best. Those things our parents did to us, the same way they trained us, I believe that most of us are also doing the same thing. But that does not really the fact that some parents are something else. There are some parents, especially the younger ones, the younger generation, who are mothers and fathers, okay? They lack those traditions that were inculcated in them by their parents because they are following the whites. I see the whole thing as being influenced by the foreign culture. They embrace the foreign culture, and because they want to belong, they want to be seen as, you know, happening women, happening men, and they bring in these things into their family, thereby affecting the lives of their children. And when you have such children in the school, come on, they are headaches to their teachers, okay? So, but All that we are saying is that as much as we recognize that there are diversity in families, in the behaviors of our children, we the parents should live up to expectation. When we get it wrong, definitely our children will get it wrong. But when we do the right thing, our children will follow suit. And remember, you can't give what you don't have.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me come to you, Reverend. Reverend, it is there stated categorically clear in the Bible that you spare the rod and you spoil the child. And the society that we are living now, most schools, private schools, you dare not reprimand the child by caning the child or flogging the child. Don't you think with the deviation from the Bible, we are losing it as parents and as the society at large?
Yeah.
How do you think we can get back to those old days and getting it right?
Yes, deviating from the Bible is deviation from the right way. There's no two ways about that. Spare the child, spare the rod, spoil the child, is wisdom that came from God. God gave that wisdom, and God is wiser than man. So, if man leaves the wisdom of God and follows his own thoughts, certainly he will end up in a ditch, and it will be very difficult and painful. Now, like Prof said, yeah, you see, I think this is part of neo-colonialism.
Sorry to interject. Yes. Have you ever been flogged in school?
Yes.
Did your parents go to school to wage war?
No. I went to military school. Let me tell you this story. My classmate, when we were in basic, either 3 or 4, Ilya, the name of the boy. The father was a brigadier general. Our teacher beat the boy. So, their poor papier. And Brigadier Ilya came. Where's the K teacher? So we were bragging now deal with the teacher. So the general walked into the class, saw the teacher. The teacher was shaking. We were all afraid. Those of us we were like, power will face power today. So the man, to my surprise, removed his shirt and showed us a deep mark here. Also, no teacher Pialiaifa, and no Ifa Pialiakiajibulo mad. So
a brigadier general telling you?
Yes, before me, I didn't read it from book. I didn't read it. I was there, the boy, my very close friend in school, basic 4. So we see that now, no Nabiani Ifa no Pialiana. Me message on a send. We see the teacher Biko. Obona ke no mwe pempe. Na mwe nke ya jina moto. So ojiti totally na hapo. Yama go ndami. Si teacher kama ya join ya di 2. Go where bad this boy now. Ni fe ya dewa baki ya kene teacher pia na mwe otari. So but then na anya mejizi woke. We su noko. I am age because now Brigadier Ilya Piatoyaro. We're supposed to discipline our children. The Bible says train up a child in the way he should go, so that when he grows up he will not depart from it. So training ada easy or that toto. After I go more in a school. Okay? Even we're malifenu or bros on a school. Or bros on a school. Manona na piam. And I believe now I ain't telling you about one time or the other. Now brought some more capia. So if you get so that totally, our family system, our culture system, our value system are brought the same thing. Yeah. So now each way to that original value, to our culture. Let me make this clear. Culture ni bela losi abro fuife. Culture we can this be ndufa. So if for that now what akele azo negu chineke na nsopuru nke nne na diche fana ka abụ mmadụ than if I am forget and I see the water, I see the water. It will go that I have forgive if I am I forgive the water, I have forgive any I have no water clip put on was all folk in your making or folk in your ally near group or quadro in our days, in our days, my bambi bamba. I don't cut a million na village. I not like this in one mama is yegi to the military duty. Why indoors I back on like this? Did a pado nanga de kataku nubo ronya? Here must one cup. And then be me anya didn't do na million be a mosia chilin is yegosi. Madaya Waggy boss.
Yeah, we are still talking about the families, and then in commemoration of International Day of Families 2024, the theme is embracing and diversity, strengthening families. Present day, we just find that parents are actually losing focus on parenting. We see cases where children will be sent to the university, and a child sent to the university will be sending money home to parents, which is the reverse. So you begin to wonder, in as much as we want to say parents have actually failed, this generation of kids are becoming geniuses even from birth. Would the talent of a child, when you see the child's talent manifesting at a tender age, will it because the child is not giving you that respect as a parent or living up to the responsibilities, and you now want to curb that child from probably extending or blossoming in whatever potential that child will go? Professor, let me come to you on this. I mean, we see children that are multi-talented, be it in music world, be it in acting and the rest of it all, and you see them showcasing their skills on the social media. When the child that is less than 15 years is beginning to earn money, do you think that that child will have respect for the parents based on Ihaina Fozikita?
The answer to this question is multifaceted, in the sense that it all depends on the upbringing of that child. There are children who are endowed with skills from birth.
Yeah.
And if as a parent you notice that your child is gifted, you need to help that child to grow that gift in him or her. If along the line the child gets into the university or even from secondary school, you notice that that child is now giving much of his time to that gift or gifting, you should be able to encourage the child. And when the child starts making money, that money should not get into his head to the extent of losing respect for the parents. If the child is still obedient to you as the mother, as the father, and you know that the source of that money is genuine, then you should be able to encourage the child. It's not every child that should go through the 4 walls of the university. No.
You subscribe to that?
Come on. Not every child must acquire formal education. We also have informal education. Now, if your child is gifted in pursuing informal education, you should be able to do what? Encourage that child. I've known people who didn't have BA, BSc, MSc, PhD, or whatever, who have distinguished themselves in the world. There are others who also distinguish themselves by acquiring this certificate. But what am I saying? As a parent, you don't need to discourage your child from bringing out the aptitude in him, the talent in him or her. Also, a child who has this skill can also acquire formal education in addition to the skill. I know of a child who started reading psychology in the university. One of the days he came to me and said, "Mommy, this is not where I should be." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, No. That I have the intuition to be a fine artist. I said, "Okay, would you want to drop in his second year?" He said, "No, I will continue with this. When I'm done with this, I'll sit for another jam and fulfill my dream." I encourage him. Today, he's a very good fine artist. His works talk about him. Another person at Imo State University wanted to read law, but didn't get the cutoff mark until, had to go in for philosophy. He has finished that philosophy and he has gone back to law. He's in his final year now in law. Now, what are we talking about? Every child that is born by a woman has some endowment in him or her. As a mother, you need to identify that special skill given to that child and be able to encourage that child to grow with that skill. You don't kill the child's dream. If you kill that child's dream, then that child will be a thorn on your flesh. But if you support that child and still give the child a formal education, tomorrow that child will make money. You'll be a child of consolation to your life. But if you discourage him, come on. Why do we have Yahoo boys? Why do we have all these Gen Zs and all their with all their problems? Why? Most parents try to dissuade their children from showcasing their skill. The most parents also who are so gluttonous, they want these children to go and make money. Haven't you heard of a woman who sent out her daughter to go and be prostituting so as to make money? Okay? There are parents like that. But what are we talking about today? We need to inculcate our culture. That no matter what your child is pursuing in life, let it be genuine. Let it be done in a godly way. And whatever the child is getting out of that, let it also not enter into that child's head. Help the child. What about this man that is the founder of Amazon?
Okay. Bezos.
How old was he when he started making money? His name is that is a household name. Okay? You cannot publish in Amazon. Free, just stay in your house and be a publisher, Things like that. You can help your child to develop the skill. That's what I'm talking about. I pray every day that God should endue my children with potentials that will make them to stand out in the society. And I, as a mother, will be able to encourage them. As much as they acquire the formal education, they will also sell through in that their potential. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. And quickly, let us go for street work and then get to hear feel the pulse of our street parliamentarians on what they have to say on the topic that we are talking about. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
A family, of course, we should know that foundationally, family comes from God, biblically. And in as much as God is the one that established family, it's worth celebrating, if for nothing, for the gift of life. And when you come to means of fostering unity or progress, one thing that we should know in a family is love, understanding is quite paramount. Any family that wants to grow, any family that wants to progress, there must be understanding, the ability to understand one another. The husband should understand the wife should understand the husband, and the parents should understand the children. In the midst of this, there are some squabbles that you need to, undermine, overlook, so that you can move forward, in as much as nobody is an epitome of perfection.
Before it starts, you have to tell your spouse who you are. If you hide anything from the beginning, the foundation of marriage is very important. So if the foundation is built up on false information, that will bring a disaster. But if it starts well, tell the man everything. The woman tells the husband, the man tells the wife what he or she need to know. That will also bring about unity. If you have a child outside, let the man or the woman know in time. These days the issue of a GSM is taking up the communication of the family, and it's really a problem. So good communication. Keep the GSM away. You will go to it, but let it not take over the family time. The another way is whereby everybody will know that the family, the husband, the wife, they complement each other. Saying that this is work of the woman and this is the work of the man is no longer there, because everybody is now in the workforce. the mother is working, the father is working. So when they come back, they should help one another in anything. Father can take the children and take their bite for them.
There are so many ways to celebrate families, and it should start by celebrating the people that make up the family, celebrating fathers, mothers, and even children, and of course celebrating parenthood, because that's the basis of every family. We should know that just like in psychology, there are two aspects of training. That's the nature and nurture. Someone that comes from a kind of family where there is discord, father and mother, they don't agree on one thing, children, they don't even have it, like they don't even want anything to have with their parents. So when this kind of individual finally has a family, you should expect that he will transfer whatever he or she has gotten from his or her first family to the new family. So we as family should first inculcate the spirit of peace. And you see, at the long run, these children will grow up to make up another family that maintains peace.
When you get to the age of getting married, you get married. And when you get married, make sure you cooperate with your wife. Carry your wife along in whatever you are doing. Then when you begin to have children, whatever you do about your children, do it along with your wife. Discuss with her. When the children are coming and you want to scold the children, or you want to maybe cane them or whatever, if it is the father that wants to do that, the wife should not intervene, because he's doing it for the purposes of the good of the family. If it is the mother that is doing that, the father should not intervene. Send them to school. If you are Igbo, make sure you teach your children how to speak that Igbo. If they go to school, they can speak English. But then when they come home, let them speak your native language. Teach them moral. Because if you teach them moral and they grow up, they will not misbehave. But they say, spare the cane and destroy the child. So at the appropriate time, you cane them. But this, what we are talking about now, caning them must, have stages. When they are small, use very small one. When they are growing, you increase it. When they get to a certain age, don't cane them again, talk to them. But like I said, the foundation is you and your wife. Make sure you understand yourself with your wife, and make sure you understand yourself with your children.
I think the biggest job that is out there for any person. Well, we've heard what our parliamentarians are saying, that stages of caning is there for us to imbibe on these our children, but at the same time, we'll just say we'll pick a thing or two and then get to go on with what we are doing right now. Let me come to you, Reverend Bethel Okoye. You heard what the last speaker there said, Mr. Jacob, talking about caning is in stages, and a wife should not take sides when they want to reprimand the child, and that man and woman should have that harmony in communication, taking your wife along. When children get to see this happening in a family, it is easy for them to tag along and then imbibe it even in old age. What do you have to say based on that sincerity of purpose of a man and a woman doing things in accordance when it has to do with raising the child?
Yes, that is the foundation of a healthy family. Two cannot work together if they don't agree. You see, the purpose of marriage is, if you look at the Bible, God said, let me make a helpmate, somebody that can be a good help to you. The wife is there to help the man, and the man is there to help the wife. It's a complement. It's a kind of teamwork. It's a collaboration. So the man cannot raise the child alone, and the woman cannot do that. But I want to add a little to what he said. When the man is beaten, the woman should not intervene. Let's do a little amendment there. the woman should, if the man is brutal. If the man is brutal, the woman should come in.
Men don't know how to beat.
You know, you are saying it. Then if the woman goes hard, the man should come in, because the life of the child is at stake. Yeah. So that intervention saves the life of the child for tomorrow. So if, like, I witnessed something that is so terrible, a man that gave his child beating and the body was peeled off all over the body. I say, where, my first question was, where was the wife when this thing was going on? So, in as much as I accept that discipline, beating should be there, but it should have limit. And it is not, you don't beat for every single offense. Not every little thing a child does, you beat. If you do that, you will create fear instead of love. Then the man carrying the wife along is also very, very important. Very, very important. Like, because this culture in Igbo land, in Igbo setting, which I believe is Rorin, that na that what's why ifenina. Open the wrong ifenina. Yes, I had the experience some times ago. I gave somebody a job to do for me, and the job, the money they involved, banite. So I took some greater percentage of the money. Can we get the man na be cash? So muna the man no napa. So munye see the other side na puta. The wife will be na bank. The man change the topic uzbu. Well, the money tinye na and sat on it. You know, I was me. More there, so I'm from KCB. So I just sat, I was watching. So when the man changed his story, call. So very fast guy. So more I want to give any play out. Banket in Aussie to an end. But the woman who awesome rap wine on Bobuna and then you are okay, where big see be a nenu. I wanting to go with the list. Kita si muchem de kuya or kutwa no mwanya. Manamu we are all going kencho. That na if the wife should know, if the husband should know. Otherwise they are not married. It is either they are bedmates or roommates. Marriage has to do with understanding, agreement, togetherness. You know, togetherness. Also Adam, that I'm going to give you a help that will be good for you. So the man and the wife should work together, agree together, plan together, execute together. Then any train no marker, like he said, name with stages. And when boy abelu apia de waterly. And when stage I want to kill you, my person waterly. Use your nuku. Okay? I remember growing up, Nata from school. Bano Baji, my dad. Ebe kensi Jana kwadi koji like this is Nana koji. Je kaji still meji. You know what I told you now, I need apia mortally. I want to give you instances. So my dad, but I said, "Kidu emelifa." And then rollers ama ge me fa abro ge mo kan bieba. The man picked on me. Wait, TM where welu emusi opiam nazu piawa mazo barapota. My uncle was coming back from farm. My uncle from my full blood said, "Kidifi me pick here my dad up, his immediate elder brother. Pick here up like this, hit him on the ground. Wow! See obuni bunwa Kidifi ge." My father got up and started looking at me. He looked at the blood. He looked at my uncle, and my uncle was looking at both of us. He started crying. He said, "Sorry." I learned from that. Boy, no weird. And will solve that problem eternity.
And it will leave a lasting
yes.
End of that child.
Or brief any quarterly boba, maisi, boy, chiawaka no. Or for the Jilifonaya, or for the Ibamba. So anyway, stages like opening we go want to go like from adolescents. Anyway, for the manner, and when both for the manner passing in the public. Bolia bani mono, otugu. Obuno wine, obugo somebody's queen, and the mother never gian. Obuno okay, o feel the go name we go somebody now outside and I admire that pride as a man, but he respected the ego of that young man. He's a man because if you destroy it tomorrow, I remember one time I about Christmas. My mom comes in there, Nolan. And if I see before of you that day, 25th December, I was feeling bad. And mom, if my dad didn't get much that season. So I see a few of you. I was feeling bad. My mom pumps him. You see, Osim Diana from I at least go 1 million for I no. So Osim ni poebe ni kete ebu unu na ekwu. Na afọ ya amekwu ifili. No agima ge mepe onu ku ifili. Osim so ilu ebe a obu na egwu egwu so na egwu si egwu ike. Na emu ife onye nke ọzọ lensi am simungwa eje o ji nwa we gba ifa so ifugo no oburu ife niile ka na apiala otali oburu ife niile ka na etili mkpu oburu okwu ife niile ka na aba mbia na ilo oburu okwu ife niile ka na ekwuru okwu enwe fufuru ya bụ ekwu efu ima ya ka efure enwe anyị ye ne nwatakịrị ọma mba na nke esori
our grandparents
we
noticed that
my grandmother before I like this. Crawl from out of your corner. Because no one April. Now the next half on a genata, Akala and Ebon Eguta, I'm Imemushi. Onego and I say, Malgi female, Ijimwe and Nefe. So name with different stages, age as Lumaka, Otaledima, Mana Pessi when attacker. See Malifana Pialotal and Kada Piotali. Then the cook who name with size Otaliana Piomaka. More advocating for one size. See when one one side because of Talibotali or follow cornal. Eje to Okulu. When get Okulu, Kois Mokujia of all. So all them I accept what our person said, man. Kaiji do chani, Kaiji bolo mad, bolo parents. Kai aliji woke sunyo noko.
Thank you so much. Quickly, Prof, let me just give you this one before we round up. Raising a girl child and a boy child, in a nutshell, which do you think is harder? We are still talking about family, and then they are still components of a family. Please, quickly, before we round up.
To me, raising a girl child is harder because of a girl child is exposed to so many things, both virtues and vices. There are a lot to put in a girl child. Apart from helping to raise the child as a human being, there are things you need to let that girl know. Because women, we are specially made, in ways that are different from that of men. There are things you need to let that girl child know. There are other traits, there are other characteristics associated with a woman that you also need to devote your time to let that girl child know. So by so doing, you see you have a lot to invest in a girl child than a boy child.
Well, thank you so much for your submission. Now, quickly, that is where we're going to be closing the curtain for today's discussion on Good Morning Anambra. Well, the topic has really been interesting, sincerely speaking. While Reverend was talking, I could take a nostalgic, will I say, reminiscence back to my youthful days to really remember and try to put into coordination some of the experiences he had. Well, I want to thank you, Professor Nkechi Nwokoye, a mother and lecturer, also the founder of Women Are Blessed for Christ Fellowship. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
And Reverend Bethel Okoye, father and motivational speaker, also the founder of Ideal Life Gospel Mission. Sincerely speaking, the two of you have really done a whole lot to the topic that we are today. And then, I'm Ajili Chukwuokabwe, just like you all know. I'm from a family, and family at home, family at work, and then family in the society. And I implore that you too, wherever you go, just make sure you shine the light of positivity in wherever you find yourself. Tomorrow we'll definitely get to do it again on Good Morning Anambra. Bye for now.